He's Brad Gerstner. He is the founder and CEO of Altimeter Capital. Joined us in an exclusive interview. Brad, it's good to see you. You're probably certainly one of the most prominent voices from an investor base that comes on from that part of the world. You have venture activity aside from everything else that you do. Can you just give me your thoughts on all that's transpired here?
Thanks, Scott, for having me on. I mean, the first thing I would say is it's just been an emotional weekend. Our community bank failed. I heard from hundreds of entrepreneurs, from schools, from little leagues who were terrified that they had done something wrong, that they weren't going to get access to their money. They weren't going to be able to meet payroll. They weren't going to be able to, meet the needs of the kids they had committed to. And so, I was proud to see a community rally together. I know, I'm from a small town in Indiana. I know Silicon Valley's not loved. I know that Silicon Valley doesn't always do what's in their own best interest in terms of communicating. But I will tell you that what happened here this weekend in saving, and pushing to save, these businesses, stepping up with no interest loans to help people make payroll today, like our firm and so many others were doing. That is the exact same thing that was going to happen today across this country from Maine to Hawaii, including small banks in Indiana and Florida, if the Fed had not stepped up. The one thing we know for sure now, this is not a weekend about Silicon Valley Bank. This is really a story of an entire regional banking system that was in peril. And the canary in the coal mine may have been Silicon Valley Bank. And we're gonna investigate. There's gonna be plenty of things that all of these banks did wrong. But this parabolic move in rates, right, really dismantled the hold to maturity portfolios of these banks. It was exposed that they were undercapitalized. And I think if you look today, obviously a lot of these bank stocks are down. And I've had people text me and tweet me that, see, we told you this, this isn't going to stop the contagion. To me, the stocks being down shows the perfect balance that our government struck here. We often criticize our government. But over the weekend, we had the executive branch led by the president, the FDIC, the Fed, the Treasury rally together and find a balance in the middle, a roadmap forward that averted what I believe would have been an 2008 type moment, coast to coast this morning. And what they said is wipe out the stocks, wipe out the bonds, not a single dollar of taxpayer money going to any executive. In fact, we're going to go find the dollars that they sold in stocks in recent weeks. OK, but what we're going to do is we're going to give the confidence to the system that their deposits are safe. Whether you're at Signature Bank, which got closed down in New York, whether you're at Silicon Valley Bank that has exposure all across this country, including Silicon Valley, and they gave us a roadmap forward for other banks. We see a lot of stress in the market today. I don't think this is the last one. We have to work through this problem, and now we have a roadmap provided by the federal government that should give confidence to depositors, not to the CEOs, not to the stockholders, but to the depositors, that you did nothing wrong and your savings are safe.
So there's obviously a lot in what you just said, and I want to go to a number of different places within what you just told me. But you said we often criticize our government, and I think it's fair to say that oftentimes a lot of that criticism has come out from your neck of the woods, from some of the more prominent members of your community, being the venture capital community, which for a while has argued that government should get out of our way and let us innovate and let our companies grow, and we don't bail people out. And now it seems like the venture community was the loudest on the digital rooftop, so to speak, screaming for help, when it didn't seem to be as concerned about that in past instances. And how would you square that?
First, I would say, this debate around federalism, limited government versus a government being involved is as old as the Republic itself. I mean, the debates over the Federalist Papers, et cetera. And so, yes, I do think Silicon Valley and folks in Silicon Valley who took those positions in the past have to stand up and have to say, state their case. But when I look at what happened over the weekend, right, this is radically different than '08. This is not a bailout for shareholders. This is not a bailout for CEOs. Their reputations are going to be destroyed. Their savings are going to vanish. It's not, if you were a shareholder of one of these banks, which you may have thought was safe, you found out that it's not. But what we did was protect depositors who did nothing wrong. And listen, we have lively debates, and we should have lively debates on this issue. I suspect that it'll be a big part of what we're going to hear about running into the presidential election in 2024.